afternoon, everybody. We are back, the right side of campus. We're live. It's a football Friday, September 8th, 2017. Week 2 in college football, Week 1 NFL. It's Football Friday. I'm your host, the Big Man on Campus, here with my co-host and boy partner, Donnie Rightside. Donnie, what's up, my man?
Hey, man. Football. Hey, Jeff, last night, sitting back watching the game, excited as all hell to watch it. Kansas City, Patriots, let's get it on. Game opened up exactly the way I thought. New England looked like they were going to run away with it. Make a long story short, obviously Kansas City comes back and wins. And, Jeff, I sit there at night, turn the TV off for I'm about to go to bed, and I said, you know what? This is exactly why I do not dip into Week 1 or Week 2 NFL football. All week long, Jeff, on our shows, same thing, me included. I can't see any way the Patriots lose this game. I can't see any way the Patriots lose. You over here, I can't see any way the Patriots lose over here either. Unbelievable, man.
Yeah, amazing stuff. And welcome into everyone out there. This is Football Friday, our kind of something we coined here at the right side of campus. We're talking football the whole way through. Big weekend, a lot going on, weather stuff. We got to keep you abreast of what's going on. And we're going to get into the breakdown on what the hell happened last night in Foxborough. Welcome into all the listeners out there. If you're out there, please say hello, like the show, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family, tell anyone you think might like this show about it. Donnie, before we get into the show, I do want to discuss, and look, I know we're just a little show on the internet, but we have to have some people out there. And look, I'm no weatherman. I'm no, I do enjoy weather. I think it's interesting. I like to learn about it. If you're in the path of this hurricane, I advise you, if you're not going to listen to anyone, but you like listening to us, heed the fucking warnings and get the hell out. I mean, I don't think people quite get – like, I saw this girl on TV last night on CNN, Donnie. She was like she might have been at the most 25. She had 2 or 3 kids, and I felt so bad for this girl. She literally was saying, I'm staying. I'm not leaving. But the point that I'm going to make here is she went out and bought all this food, this formula, all this stuff. And it's not so much buying all the food and the formula, whatever, but if you get into trouble, number one's not going to be able to help you. Number 2, you might be there for weeks. If you're going to spend all that money on food, why not just leave? I mean, I get it's tough. I get it's going to take a while, but you were given a lot of warning. This is not a storm. You can just wait around and just see what happens. I urge you, if you're in the area, get the hell out of there.
Nah, I mean, from everything, sometimes, you brace for the worst. And this storm, again, I made the joke yesterday, what's faster, Albert Pujols or this storm? Because it seems like we've been talking about it for weeks on end. And it's, coming down the pike and you're hoping
we had the other
one way. Yep, maybe it turns one way, maybe it turns the other way. And it looks like it's going, like an old school Adam Vinatieri field goal, Jeff, right down the middle of Florida, man. Just disastrous, looks like, man.
Yeah, and it's such a shame because like we've, it seems like we're talking about hurricane every week. I mean, last week you have Hurricane Harvey. This week you have, Hurricane Irma. And this is hurricane season. You got another hurricane right behind. Now, obviously, that's probably going to turn and go up, the Atlantic Ocean. But you look at these little nations like Barbuda and these little countries, or principalities that, I mean, they're going to get slammed again, Donnie. It's really, really an utter shame. These countries aren't built to withstand things like this. I know they're in the hurricane zone, but monetarily, they're not prepared enough to deal with these, week after week. So, look, I wish anyone down there. I know this. There's a listener, Donnie, I saw in the chat last night on Gabe's show that says he lives in Miami and he's staying. Which, look. I know, look, I might say a lot of dumb shit. You might not like me, but get the hell out of there. Please do yourself a favor. I don't want to see anyone die. I don't want to see anyone have a problem. Heed the warnings. And then you had an earthquake last night in Mexico, Donnie. Yep. What the hell is going on in the world?
Yeah, hey, man, it's that time of season. I mean, hurricane season's always terrible. We know it ramps up. And, even dating back to 1992, going back to my childhood, Hurricane Andrew, which pummeled Florida as like a rallying cry, was like $62 billion of damage back then. I can't imagine what it's going to actually cause. But again, don't worry about your house. Like there's a silver lining in this one, Jeff. You're in it. It's already declared an emergency, a disaster zone. You're going to get a brand new house. Sure. If you had a business down there, they're going to rebuild it for you. They're going to give you back pay. Whatever your profits were last year, you say you're out of business 342 days, they will give you 342 days of what your profit would be. I was in Superstorm Sandy up here. My store didn't go away, but the town didn't have power for 4 days. I lost everything in the store. They gave me, insurance company gives you fresh meat to come in. Do you need your roof fixed? Do you need this fixed? How long were you out for? Send me in W-2 or pay right, and they pay it all back. So, your life's way more important than a house you can just rebuild real quickly. And again, they're going to give you money to rebuild it. So just get the hell out of there and let's see what's what.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. And look, I think, where I live now, we don't have much weather problems. Once in a while there'll be a tornado, but it'll never hit us. And, once in a while there's a storm like Sandy, but, overall, we could be in a much worse situation. As far as weather wise. So look, all I'll say is, heed the warning. Don't think you're stronger than weather, because weather don't give a fuck about no one. So, and it's, it just happens. You can't really.
Yeah. Weather doesn't see color, Jeff. Don't matter if you're rich, poor, whatever denomination you are, it's coming after you.
Yeah, it don't matter. You could be whatever you are. It's going to hit you no matter what. But Donnie, let's get into last night and break down what happened at Foxborough. The New England Patriots lose 42-27. And Donnie, quickly, where I thought this game changed was when, I don't know if you remember, but New England was up 7. They had pretty much just answered a touchdown in the second half, right in the third quarter, after Kansas City scored. And I remember when Tom Brady went across the line of scrimmage and completed a touchdown, but it was called back?
Yes. Yep.
That's when this game changed to me. Patriots at that point settled for 3, and it really went down and got worse from there. The question I have for New England is, you gave up 537 yards on defense. You had guys like Alex Smith who never play like that. Guys like Kareem Hunt who, came out of nowhere. What the fuck was Matt Patricia, or whatever his name is, doing last night? That defense was a mess.
Oh, you mean the cool rocket science guy where
guy that knows everything.
Save my face, I'm the smartest man on the planet. I'll wear my hat backwards and I'll put like pencils in my mouth.
Donnie,
I'm with the absolute greatest coach of all time, covering for me and probably giving me all my schemes. Go ahead, Jeff.
That's the whole franchise. They're me. We don't have to fucking answer to you. We're going to wear – and look, I get the whole towel thing. You don't like Adele, whatever. But your fucking coaches shouldn't be wearing those out of the plane. Did you see the picture, Patricia?
No, I know that. And again, it all gets back to which, if you're Robert Kraft and you want to shove it, you shoved it. You won the Super Bowl. I can't imagine, Jeff. Let's say you're back to your banking days and Vernon Hill comes in, or whoever, the old owner of the bank comes in, and you're wearing a shirt mocking them. Not very good business practices, you know what I mean? And again, maybe you run into some damage. Maybe, you make a mistake one night and have a DUI. Goodell's going to sit up in his, shiny penthouse on Fifth Avenue and come down with the rain on you for that. You won the Super Bowl. You won, right? You won. Clown. And again, brings me to another point. There's another, broadcast company out there. Maybe had the worst overall night you possibly could have had. Just Donnie, disastrous promotion.
It actually got worse. I don't know if you saw last night, but Dave Portnoy on Twitter crying after the loss. You just won the fucking Super Bowl, and you expect us to have some fucking sympathy for you? Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. You're crying about
the funny thing about that, too, is, Jeff, is that he actually might have started a curse, meaning like week that they lost.
I know.
Nobody lose at home. What happens now if hey, Tom Brady – the way he plays, you figure he could play till he's 60, but sooner or later, Father Time catches up to every single athlete. What happens if now the Patriots ride out the season, maybe go 10-6, get knocked out week 1 of the playoffs, and they're never the same ever again? Because it's a cyclical world, Jeff. You're going to lose Tom Brady, the single best player in NFL history. You're going to lose Bill Belichick probably right after Brady goes, the single best coach in NFL history. It's going to get bad because people are going to be waiting to pound the New England Patriots, and it's going to happen pretty soon.
Yeah, and look, I'll be real. I'm a big Barstool guy, but I do think he mushed that last night. It didn't work.
That's embarrassing. That was really embarrassing for a promotion.
When was the last time they lost at home?
Never. They never lose at home. They never do. We're going to get Roger Goodell back. Now you can't leave, Roger. Yeah, who had the last laugh? Goodell was popping bottles of Dom P with his $40 million salary last night.
There's no fucking way we're going to lose tonight.
Get ready to gunpowder. Come on, man, Patriot clowns.
And after the game, we'll get some chowder at the diner.
yeah. Dude, we're a baseball town anyway, man. Tommy's great, but we don't even pay attention to him. Red Sox all the way in the playoffs.
Red Sox Nation all day.
Yeah.
How'd that work out for you last night? It's, again, I mean, I think we both mentioned we didn't think the Patriots would lose, but
I didn't think the Patriots would lose. Exactly. Hey, I tweeted that out this morning. I was completely wrong on that, which, again, let the eyes deceive you. We've looked at this game a million different ways. If you heard me talk over the last 3 months, I'm so far down on the Chiefs, and they come up with a stunner like that, and it just makes you reevaluate everything that you're looking at. And by the way, Jeff,
yeah,
Kareem freaking Hunt.
Yeah. Fantastic.
We've watched him multiple times. An amazing running back. It's the MAC. Let's see what he can do in the NFL. He looked amazing last night.
No, he really did. And, shouts to him. I mean, fumbles, the first play of the game. He had never fumbled in college. And he comes back, you're thinking, oh, no. I mean, what a terrible start for the kid. But no, I mean, they worked him. They kept going to him. He was fantastic. But, Donnie, it was for me more towards what, I don't know, Tom Brady didn't look good at all, I thought. I don't know if I was the only one seeing it, but
I mean, he was right. Yeah.
He was really poor on first down. And I got to ask, I mean, I knew you threw to Gronk a couple times, but where the hell were the tight ends last night in that offense? I mean, you have the best tight end in the league. You have a matchup nightmare, and you don't throw to him at all. I mean, you're throwing downfield every fucking play. Bad performance.
Yeah, they missed early on a tight end play down. I think it was maybe in the first drive, maybe second or third play. Who's the second tight end, Jeff, behind Gronkowski? The kid they got from the Colts.
Dwayne Allen.
Allen, yes, correct. I'm sorry. Slipped my mind there. Wide open play, which Brady usually dots that eye 9 out of 10 times, overthrew him there. Yeah, a little bit off. And again, Jeff, you can't be 40. You're not supposed to be 40 and dominating in the NFL. Maybe you see it this year, but again, my favorite part again, Jeff, week 1 to week 2. Here's the over, which again, I'm going to give it to you. We're going to overreact on a lot of these because it's fun to overreact. Holy cow. I even saw a tweet come out and said, redid my numbers. Kansas City now the favorite to win the Super Bowl after week 1. Come on, man.
Look, New England will be fine. They're still going to win. They'll still win 12 games. There won't be a problem. They have to get the defense fixed, though, because, look, I thought their secondary would be a lot better this year. I mean, it still might be. It was just a bad game for them all around. I mean, nothing they did last night worked. I mean, Brady was off. Their defense was off. Their defense is downright pathetic, to be really honest.
And blown coverages, too. Very un-Patriot-like, just to have people running wide open because you're not covering them up. We talked about the same before. They did a really good job of that, but if you're just going to let Tyreek Hill run free in a cover 2 scheme where you forget that the safety forgets just to be over top, that 75-yard touchdown by Tyreek Hill broke that game open, not because of the actual score at the time, but, you get a 3 and out, you can force them to get the football, you get the ball back with the lead. Instead, you're down. And how many times do we see this, Jeff? The arrogance of a single football team. I can't remember. I want to say it may have been the first half. I didn't rewatch the game, but I'm trying to just go off memory here. What was the play where the Patriots were pinned back, the Chiefs were pinned back deep, like inside the 10-yard line, and the Patriots are calling timeouts? And that, I believe, led to a touchdown for Kansas City, if I'm correct on that. Whereas, Andy Reid, they would have just let the clock run out, maybe picked up a first down or 2, and then maybe got a field goal. But those timeouts, and there you go, Alex Smith right down the field on you.
Yeah, it's always nice to see that group lose and lose bad. I mean, they got crushed. But I got to ask you about 2 things. First of all, was it really necessary to keep your fucking Super Bowl banners on the field during the national anthem? I mean, come on.
I didn't see it. No, where were they? What they had I thought they were up in the rafters.
I'm talking about the flag things they have. They had the big flag, and then they had the Super Bowl champs flags next to it. I mean, come on, take that off. We're aware.
Jeff, they were going for Goodell. They wanted to just get after Goodell and all that stuff. And it didn't really matter one way. They looked like a well-oiled machine early. The Patriots looked like it was going to be a blowout. And then kudos to Andy Reid for keeping that team together. Huge injury with Eric Berry. I think Tyreek Hill left, but there's only cramps, so he'll be back next week. But that's going to, down the road, Eric Berry's going to hurt, that football team, obviously.
For all the people talking about LeGarrette Blount, that's why you need a LeGarrette Blount on your team last night, because 2 instances, he couldn't run the football up the middle. They were stopped, and I think Rostradamus is making a good point here. That 4th down stop early changed momentum because it was a 7-0 game at that point. New England's going in to score another touchdown, and you get a stop there. It goes from 14-0 to how it ended up turning out.
You know what's interesting in that too, Jeff, is if you notice over the years, the best quarterback sneak team in football is usually Tom Brady and the Patriots. They caught again, you still have to convert. You can do whatever you want. You could have still quarterback sneaked it, but How many times do you see the Patriots sprint up to the line and do a quick quarterback sneak for like a 3 or 4 yard game?
They couldn't do it last night because of the one.
Both of the time they were so close that they had to bring in the chains to measure, and it blew that, which I thought was kind of interesting because, Brady's probably giving it to the refs like this. It's short. I can't even believe you're doing this. But, both those times they got spiked a little.
Throws up all momentum. And, look, I mean, the refs are what they are nowadays, but the constant measuring stuff has to stop. I mean, you're clearly short. And I also want to shout out to one other thing the Patriots did last night. What a fraud group to bring in Mark Wahlberg. I mean, the same guy that left the Super Bowl early, if we remember correctly, then used such a weak excuse that his kids got sick. Yet you bring him back and you have him host. How did he know? He wasn't even fucking there. What's he know about the Super Bowl win? He wasn't even there.
The introductions were kind of lame last night. I thought they could have the crowd was there, the amp, but from what they showed on TV, it didn't look too interesting. And the one thing I never understand about the NFL, even dating back 20 years ago, they used to open the game. If you go to like Lincoln Financial Field, the Vet, or usually anywhere, the Eagles don't really announce starting lineups, and the Patriots don't do either. Like, you always talk about like marketing your stars, like how the NBA does it. You're watching the NBA Finals. Doesn't matter if they have 7 games, Jeff. You see every starting lineup get announced in the crowd. They don't do that anymore. They don't do it. Chip Kelly threw it out the window. And I don't know if Doug Peterson going back to it yet.
Yeah, that's when it went away. I remember when Reed was here, they would announce every player.
Yes.
They would run out of the tunnel all on their own, and
the defense would come out and wait in line, and the offense would get introduced, and the crowd loves that, but they don't do it anymore. I don't understand it.
Yeah, interesting. One other thing about Kareem Hunt, I'm not sure if you're a genius if you started Kareem Hunt. I mean, as Donnie said, I was skeptical on picking him, but then I thought to myself, Donnie made the point of, well, he is their number 1 running back at this point because of the injuries that they've had. So, hey, if you have Kareem Hunt and you drafted him, good for you.
Jeff, dude looked like he looked like a 21, 22-year-old Frank Gore out there. I mean, I'm unbelievably impressed, and again, overreaction again is what we're going to have. But if you want to look from off, Jeff, the dude is catching 75-yard touchdown passes.
Yeah,
I've never seen. I'm just astonished, man.
I actually faced Ian Cameron last night in our fantasy league, and he has Kareem Hunt, 44 points. So, and I had Brandon Cooks, who only had 11. So, definitely not a good start. I had to face the guy who had Kareem Hunt. So, shout out to Bobano, who had Kareem Hunt. Chiefs,
yeah,
Rockies,
week 1 always saw that stuff. Yeah.
Chiefs Rockies money line would have been nice. Yeah, the same as Howard Liberty, who actually took it. I love those people.
I saw somebody on Twitter, which again I don't know if it was placed or gone through, but somebody had the Rockies minus $50 bet. The Rockies minus 2.5 last night, paired with the Kansas City Chiefs money line. Wow. Like $50 paid like $2,000 back on that. Just like 2 plays.
Good for them.
Yeah,
I do like Darren Ravel and like all the books tweeting out about how. If you had Howard and Liberty, you would have made $4 million.
Of course you would have.
First of all, no book would ever take that. And second of all, if they are, they're not going to fucking pay you.
A good point on that, Jeff. I mean, like, are you walking into a sports book? And I know they'll take it. They love dumb wagers, but if you're betting like, hey, I'm just a little bit drunk. Let me take the 2 dogs, and it comes out to be like $1 million bet. Don't you think they ring the back cage and be like, look, do you want to accept this bet? Because it's not the casino. It's not even worth the casino. That $100 that they're going to get to what they can lose, they probably wouldn't even allow you to do that.
They don't even offer money lines that high.
Yeah,
They're
come on.
20s. You wouldn't even get a bet on that. And then I heard someone take it even further and say, well, if you would have took Cal, Maryland, Liberty, and Howard, you would have won $185 million.
Yeah, exactly. If I would have called you up one day, Jeff, and said, let's start this company called Amazon, we would be billionaires 1,000,000 times over. Come on, man. We can all make these hilarious stories up.
Remember this. If they take the bet, they have to pay you. Just remember that. So if they take the bet, it's good money. So, and if they don't, you can go to the OSGA if you're offshore. But
or you could just file a claim with SBR and they can fight on your behalf.
Yes, correct. I don't know how much luck they'd have trying to get a $4 million bet out. But hey, I'm sure 5 Dimes. I know they offered the line. So if you're out there and you did it, step the fuck up. We'd like to hear from you.
At least give me a Photoshop, man.
Right. Donnie, before we get into the rest of Football Friday, we will take a quick look at the baseball card. Baseball at this point for me, it's like I don't really give a flying fuck. But I will tell you this, Donnie. I took the Mets last night, and I got the job done. Thank you.
That was nice. I actually thought I was a Reds backer last night. I didn't put out any premium action, but I liked the Reds last night. Not so much just because of the line movement. I just thought, and again, this is one of those, Jeff, the Mets. The Mets roll out, and I'll say it again, the most trash-ass lineup you could possibly put on a Major League Baseball field. Jeff, and they get 8 to 9 runs a night.
No, they're playing well. And
I can't believe it, man.
The big thing for me, Donnie, in the game was I wanted to bet on Matt Harvey. I think Matt Harvey is a competitor. I think he's a good athlete still. I still think he can pitch. And for me, it's the end of the season. The Mets stink. This was really on Matt Harvey to pitch well for himself, not for the group, not for the team, for himself going forward. And he was great last night. He gave up 2 early runs, but other than that, he was very good. And you're right. I mean, the Mets don't look like a team that's generally going to score a lot of runs, but there's a reason they're the best over team in baseball. They find a way to do it. And there were a lot of situations last night. They had a runner on second and third, no outs. It was a perfect situation. They get to 2 outs, and I'm thinking, fucking Mets, god damn it. And then Reyes comes up and gives you a nice little single.
Yeah, it was back-to-back. You're right. I think it was back-to-back strikeouts. You had the 8-hole hitter up that I think it was Harvey. Reynolds, and then Harvey struck out, and then you're right. Yep, exactly.
But then you look at today. Let's look at it today, 9:55, 9:56. You got the Mets hosting the Reds. You got
look who's back on the mound, baby.
Our boy Amir Garrett, who I've said it before, he had possibly the worst 3-game stretch I've ever seen in baseball. He gave up like 20 runs in 13 innings. It was quite amazing, but we haven't seen him for a while. You know, Donnie, I have a weird feeling tonight he's going to pitch well. I don't know why. I'm not going to, I don't really bet baseball right now.
Lugo should just serve him up, right? I mean, Lugo, who's he striking out?
Well, he's off a DL stint as well. So, I mean,
come on.
You look at the point of through the third time in the order, opponent hitting 373 against him. So as the game goes on, he starts to struggle a little bit more. And Donnie, I mean, you look at Garrett. In his 14 starts at Louisville, 2-4 with a 5.72 ERA. So, I go over 9. Sorry.
I mean, yeah, and a Reds game always typically would lead you in that direction as well. But it's just so like opening, you get excited. Like, I mean, obviously college football, pro football, like digging in deep now. It's a lot of fun to look. You can trust these teams. And every day now I open up the card and I see stuff like, the Phillies, -350. I mean, there's a couple decent spots out there, but again, you're talking about competitive advantage taken away. If you like to read lines and then look at lineups, it doesn't even matter this time of year, Jeff, because you don't even know any of the, I mean, I don't want to say any of these players. Like, look at the Dodgers. Kershaw's on the mound. He's getting lit. They lose 15 in a row, whatever they're doing. But there's I like to bet value in baseball. And if I can't quantify a value on a lineup or who's pitching or who's coming behind, nothing makes sense to me at this point right now. So it's almost maybe a day or two, maybe today, from shutting down the baseball season completely, because when my advantage is gone and you look at games like last night with the Reds, I'm like, you know what? I think Harvey will get shelled in this game. Other kid's good. Bad lineup for the Mets. They hammer him. Thank God I didn't give that play out last night. But value is what I look for, and it's hard to find right now for me, Jeff.
Yeah, and Donnie, before we get into the rest of baseball, the scarf is now on. It's time to put out my bet for today. And as many know, Celtic Football Club, I've bet every week since I can remember. I will again today, laying 1.5 goals against Hamilton Athletic at 1.67. So at 1.67, that's about minus 140. Going to lay the 1.5 goals. I bet Celtic every week. So this is an auto bet for me. Someone's asking about it. People are also asking about PSG, Paris Saint-Germain, the arguably best attacking team in the world with Neymar and Mbappe now and so many options there. They're laying 2.5 goals at Metz. I mean, it's never a bad thing to get PSG. I mean, they're just on fire right now. They're scoring goals for fun. They will do it all year. They're going to run through the Ligue 1. They shouldn't have any problem there. But for me, only bet I'm on today is going to be Celtic. Let's get back to the scarf. Let's take that off, and let's get back to baseball, Donnie. What better show do we have, Donnie? It's a great show, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. Keep everybody involved in there. I mean, looking at games that possibly would be competitive,
Donnie,
Jeff, 969, 970. Yeah.
I was going to ask you about one quickly here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's go to the first game or second game on the card, 9:53, 9:54. The Nationals laying 350 against the Phillies, over under 7.5. You got Jake Thompson against the best pitcher in the National League.
Why does Vegas even line that game, Jeff? Can't it just be like one of those, Alabama, if they played like a Division II team where you just don't even hang a line on that one? Why not just say in Vegas, like, you know what? We're just going to pass on this game altogether. Because if you're betting the Washington Nationals and putting them in a parlay, are you putting them in like a 13-team parlay so they actually might have a little bit of value that you need to win in that one? Because if you're just 2-team parlaying the Nationals or 3-team, it doesn't make any sense in the world. If you're just going to bet run line on the Nationals, doesn't make any sense in the world. If you're going to bet money line on the Nationals, doesn't make any sense in the world. So I don't know what you do with that game there, Jeff.
Yeah, it's definitely a conundrum that you get in September with laying some of these big numbers. It's, do you want to take a shot with the underdog? Kind of just like David versus Goliath here with Scherzer against Jake Thompson. Two guys on totally different wavelengths.
Yeah, and again, you look at that huge number there, Jeff. You're saying, well, what do you get out of the Phillies? They don't give a shit. They haven't gave a shit in 2 months. You're looking at the Nationals. If they lose this game, is it the end of the world? No, they're up like 20 games in the NL East. So it's one of those where you're saying, like,
Right.
Maybe a pride game for Scherzer. He wants to get right, dominate the game. I get that. But to lay 350 with absolutely nothing on the line is absurd.
I mean, also keep in mind his career, he's absolutely dominated the Phillies for the most part. I mean, 9 starts, their ERA just above 2. So, I mean, and those have all come lately. So, yeah, you would expect them to really get the job done here. Donnie, one other one, and I think this is one you were going to look into, 969, 970.
Yeah.
Indians laying 154-ish to the Orioles over under 9. Indians have won, 15 in a row, Donnie? Something like that. And they're beating teams fairly easily. I think they've won 12 or 13 by 2 or more runs. What do you got on this game?
Yeah, I mean, even looking at the opening line there, Jeff, 93% of the tickets coming in, or almost 90% coming in currently there on Cleveland, and the line goes from 160 to 154. If I'm looking at this game and I'm trying to just get a value advantage here, Jeff, both of these lineups can hit the baseball. Both also have good bullpens. So why not just isolate the game and say, you know what? I don't have the exact number, but if it's a 9 out there, Chris, I'm going to say what, Jeff? Maybe 5 for a first 5 inning total, I would assume in that, something in that range. I would probably lean towards going over in the first 5 in there. Maybe Miley gets beat around a little bit. Clevenger hit and miss. But again, Baltimore's going to, they're not resting now. They're trying to get in the playoffs. They're going to have a good 1 through 9 the same way Cleveland's going to have a strong 1 through 9, trying to keep up that momentum and, solidify their lead. I would lean first 5 innings over in that one. I'm just looking to have a little bit of fun, maybe lay down a wager. I don't like the game overall because, again, Baltimore is a crafty team, good bullpen. They can hit anybody, and you're not getting one of their power pitchers on the mound. Clevenger's decent. I like the kid, but he's not the ace on the mound that I want to back at home, maybe laying 150 against a really good baseball team. I'll go first 5 innings in this one, take the over 5, see if they can knock it around a little bit there.
Donnie, the Cleveland Indians have won 11 in a row on the road.
Yeah.
They come home tonight. I'm not a big fan of backing a team off a good road trip or even road trip in general. And the Indians, Donnie, are 15 units to the negative at home this year. Not a good home team for bettors. But again, Baltimore's not a good road team for bettors. So, really, I guess you got to go with the hotter team. Cleveland's murdering the ball, but don't be surprised if this one is a tough one. Coming off of a good road trip back home. But it's hard to trust Wade Miley on the road, who's had trouble all year. Let's get to another one here. Where are we going to go? Let's go to this one, Donnie. Where are we going? 971, 972. The New York Yankees visiting the Texas Rangers. Tanaka and the Yankees laying 151 over under 9.5. Martin Perez for the Rangers. Donnie, Rangers much better team at home for the most part. 37-30, scoring almost 6 runs a game. And you got a guy, Tanaka, who has been fairly inconsistent this year. We all know that. Has a tough and troublesome ERA. 9 of his 13 starts have gone over. You got Perez as well, who struggled. Got to almost look over here, don't you?
Yeah, the one common denominator in this game, Jeff, is it's a hitter's ballpark. Both of these teams have good lineups. I know Beltre is going to be out. Mazzara might not play in the game tonight. But Yankees finally getting healthy with their power bats. You would just have to lean. I mean, it'd be foolish to take this game under because the Yankees themselves, I see them putting, maybe 5 to 6 runs up themselves. So if Texas can hang on, I don't see Tanaka throwing a shutdown game. Maybe if it was under different circumstances, a different ballpark. But it is a hitter's ballpark. They do have a decent 1 through 9 with Texas. The one thing you do worry about Texas, obviously, would be the bullpen. But I think the Yankees will handle their portion of this game. I would lean towards the over, too. We'll keep, again, square play. But when you're just looking at overall, I think the Yankees can put up at least 6 runs tonight.
Yeah, I agree with you. Luke Weaver, Donnie, has been one of the better pitchers in baseball over the last couple weeks. St. Louis and him host the Pittsburgh Pirates. Trevor Williams has been okay this year. But, dude, I got to tell you, man, St. Louis is just – they're a brutal team to kind of try to figure out. I mean, you look at last night, got their boy on the mound.
Look at their roster, too. I mean, it's just their 1 through 8 just shows up with randoms all over the place.
Yeah, it's very odd. But Luke Weaver's been really good. It's hard to kind of bet against him right now. Kind of want to lean under here, but it looks like the under boat missed. This one was 8.5. It's down to 8, so kind of missed the best number on there. Any opinion on this game?
Yeah, I'm leaning the same way as you, Jeff. Pittsburgh games, I always joke now. I abstain from those, but if I have to do a play in this game, looking at it, Pittsburgh can't score. I mean, what do they score? 1-2 a game. It just seems to me every once in a while they'll bust out with a good offensive outing, but their lineup is awful. 1-8. It's very little power. The speed now is all banged up and injured. Max Moroff and whoever they're bringing up, their 6, 7, and 8 hitters have little to no pop whatsoever. When you're leaning on bringing back a Sean Rodriguez, you know it's getting really bad for that organization. But yes, I would lean towards an under. And you're right, St. Louis, we've seen offensive outbursts. We've seen them put up double-digit runs. But what's their normal game to me, Jeff? 3, 4, 5 runs maybe. I would lean towards the under as well. Can we all see a game like this, Jeff? 4-2, 5-2 final? Would that even shock anybody? Nope. I'll go under 2. Yeah,
Houston's won 7 in a row and look to probably get 8 tonight. They're on fire. Been great on the road all year, as we know. 45-22 on the highway, and they're heading into Oakland. Who look, Oakland is a team that stinks. I mean, we all know that they're not very good. They've had trouble lately. Is there any reason they don't go in here and pound Jarrell Cotton? Colin McHugh's not a guy I tend to want to back, but you have to think. I mean, he's actually pitched pretty well this year. Over his last couple starts, 3 starts, a .54 ERA. So, I mean, he's been on fire, and they've won his last 3 starts. Any reason he doesn't continue his stellar pitching against a poor Oakland team?
Yeah, I mean, Oakland, again, always that, lively type of squad at home. I know some people are trying to dig off of those Los Angeles Angels games, but you're just outmanned in this game. I mean, hey, you say, all year long, Jeff, Tampa Bay at home, Oakland at home, we say that repeatedly. They're always going to have a fighting chance. Not a big fan of Jarrell Cotton, but again, you're staring down the barrel of a shotgun at this point when you're looking at a healthy Houston Astros lineup. Their bullpen's better than the A's. Their starter tonight's going to be better than the A's. Their lineup is way ahead of the A's. Maybe Crash Davis goes out there and hits a couple home runs for Oakland. Maybe they keep it close in this one. But if you're going to be laying money at this point in the season, I don't want a team that doesn't really care anymore. I wouldn't lay 170, but if I had to bet it, free play in that one, Jeff, give me Houston all day long here, man.
Yeah, by the way, Cotton's given up 24 home runs in 114 innings.
We're going to get him. Yep.
Other than that, Donnie, we'll move on and talk a little football. It is Football Friday here at SBR. And thanks for the kind words from Cynthia mentioning we have some great breakdowns. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Hit the like button if you enjoy the show. We're pitching a shutout right now. Let's hope to keep it that way. Austin Geist, I like Houston -1. Yeah, I'm a 1.5 guy, so I'll just lay the 1.5 at pretty much even money. Should be a winner. Donnie, football is here. We'll get into a little NFL, and then we'll finish it out with tonight's college games. We'll break down all 4 college games, or both of us will. Donnie, but let's get into a couple NFL games, just kind of look at some movement here. Obviously, we had that one game last night, but Sunday is pretty much here, and I know you're excited for it. I'm excited for it. I'm still deciding, Donnie, should I go to the game on Sunday or not? I mean, I pretty much need to know today if I'm going.
I like to just sit back and relax. I mean, if you give me a nice big screen TV, one with Red Zone, one with the game on that you're watching, you can't beat that, man.
And I almost look at it. It's like I know that
you're gonna miss the 4:00 games. You know what I mean? You're gonna have a long drive home.
I know I hate that stadium. I know that I hate the people there. I hate the Redskins. And again, I'm not a huge fan, Donnie, of weeks 1 through 3 and going to games. I want football to be cool and cold and like kind of windy and like that football weather. You wear a nice hat.
October, yeah.
Get prepared. It smells like, burning wood in the air. There's nothing better.
Yeah, first games of the year for me, Jeff. 2 things usually happen. Number 1, I lose my voice, and number 2, this side of my face and neck gets absolutely torched by the sun. So I won't miss that this year, thank goodness.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of not going to week 1 through 3, though I have. I prefer not to. So you know what, Donnie? I'm not going to go. I might not.
There you go.
That's a good.
Stay home, yell at your TV, relax. You got your own bathroom, you got your own kitchen. Sure. You can order up some food. Yeah.
By the way, I wanted discuss this. I know Donnie's taking center stage on Sunday with the NFL show with Gabriel Morency.
The closing line, baby.
Yes, the NFL edition of the closing line.
Yep.
Our sister show that we do the college show. They do the NFL show.
Yep.
They're live 12 o'clock. I don't know, Donnie, how many games you're going to get in during that time because Morency does like to talk. Only kidding. But they'll be back.
That's a good part about it. What's their, 12, obviously, 12, 14, whatever games are going to be there opening day. I mean, we've talked about them all week. So that's just, hammering that nail one final time. So
yeah,
we'll get it.
They'll be on at 12. They'll also be on at halftime of the 1 o'clock games, chatting about some in-play games, some halftime bets. And Donnie also wanted to discuss this. This is going to be fun as well. Gabriel and I will be on Sunday night watching the NFL game together. And if you know Gabe, you know me, that's sure to be a little fucking crazy. I hate the Cowboys. Donnie, I know you hate the Cowboys. Maybe you'll even join on the show if you're around. Should be fun watching the game with us. We'll get you some in-game plays, chat about what's going on. And
so you're going to be on with me from 7:30 to 8 and then pop on like a half hour later? Look at you, man. What a working man out there.
I don't know. I'm just putting in for the team. But yeah, we're action packed on Sunday here at SBRforum.com. We're talking plenty of football, trying to get out in front of it and hopefully have some fun. So yeah, it's going to be a fun weekend. But Donnie, let's get into some of these games. Cal 707 Bears asking us about Philly Washington over, which obviously we have a lot to say about this one. Lined open 48.5, got down to 47.5 at one point. It's back up to 48. So not a ton of move here. Look, I mean, we know the Eagles' offense is going to be much better. They're going to be a team that threw the most in the preseason. They're
going to throw 50 times. Eagles are going to throw the ball 50 times. That says over to me. I don't care who they're playing.
And when you're looking at an over, you have to understand and ask yourself, will this team abandon the run at some point? I have to think they're going to. They're a team that doesn't have much in the run game. They have – you know what I also like, Donnie, about the run game? The guys they do want to go to in the run game, you go to Blunt, you run the football, it's only going to be on the 1 yard line or in short yardage. So, they're going to be an efficient run team, I feel like, when they do run it. Their secondary is poor. Ronald Darby's a nice pickup, but, he's no he's no.
I would say the secondary is poor. The cornerback position.
That's more or less Greg. Good point. The secondary position. And look, is Jalen Mills a guy that, a 7th-round pick? Is he ready to kind of continue his
the Green Goblin? Yeah, we'll see what he got this year.
So for me, I think both teams are going to throw the football a lot. Redskins have no run game either. This is one of my more favorite plays of the week as far as in the NFL. I think, Donnie, you got to look at the over in this game. It's hard to not. I mean, just everything you kind of look at with an over, it's hard not to get on it.
Yeah, 2 quarterbacks that can absolutely sling it. Unbelievable weapons on the outside. 2 great tight ends. Teams that you figure, I mean, how much of the Redskins going to be able to pressure Carson Wentz with one of the best offensive lines in football? You might have all day to throw the football back there. And you flip over vice versa. If you have Kirk Cousins, the success that he's had against the Philadelphia Eagles, and again, no shortage of talent out there at the wide receiver or tight end position, how could you not? Jeff, is it theoretically possible you might see 90 combined passes in this game? How the hell can't you bet the over?
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, Cousins is going to sling it. Wentz is going to sling it. And these are, again, for the last time, 2 teams that do not run the football very good. My problem in this game is Doug Peterson. I don't necessarily disagree with Mike Lombardi's comments. I thought they were a little distasteful, but you can't hate on them. He doesn't seem like he knows what he's doing a lot of the time. But we'll see. I think this is like a 28-24 type of game, 31-24, something like that. I really think that we're going to see some points here. And it's hard.
Jeff. I don't see any team running away with this football game. If you watch any Redskins-Eagles games over the past 10 years, I mean, it's still a divisional game. It's opening day. It's going to be a little bit rusty. If you would say, hey, Donnie, I think the Eagles can be up 21-0 at one point, I would tell you you're crazy. And the same thing with the Redskins going against the Eagles. So this might be one of those hold on to your hats. We're coming down the stretch, last 4 minutes in a tie game or a 1-possession ball game. That's probably what it's going to be.
Yeah, no, I hear on that. Donnie, this is a very interesting line. One of the more interesting lines of the week. 455, 456. Falcons down to 6, minus 105. That means this line's going to probably get to 5.5 here soon. Over under 49.
That's my long shot there. Yep.
I didn't see it early on, and at 7, I was kind of just numb on the game, didn't have much of an opinion. But at this point, it's hard to not look at the Bears and take a shot. I mean, Ryan and I last year, Donnie, Ryan and I, my co-host that I had on the Big Men on Campus podcast, him and I used to do a show every Sunday where we break down each NFL game and give a pick for it. We did every game every week. We did pretty well with it. Ryan's an NFL guy, and I remember at a time last year, Donnie, Atlanta is a favorite. I mean, they were just dreadful. I mean, they were really poor. They couldn't cover as a favorite. Started to turn it on a little bit towards the end of the year, but the problem I have in this game is Chicago's 0-6 in their last 6 against the spread in September. They're a team that I think has some problems, on the defensive end. I know some people don't think they do, but I think against an Atlanta team that's obviously going to be here ready to go after that disgusting Super Bowl, kind of disgrace. It's hard not to bet them, but this line just really doesn't make any sense. I mean, they're one of the most bet teams in the league right now. Why is the line going down? This is what I would call, Donnie, a false flag.
Yeah, no, you got 78% of the public betting in there spread-wise, 80% of the money. Line opened up at around 7, now down to 6. It's exactly what you want to look for in an early September wager. Again, nobody knows how these teams are going to come out, and it all boils down to the same logic. Every one of these teams that kicks the ball Sunday believes they have a shot at the playoffs. They're not 0-8. Like, Jeff, let's fast forward this game and play it late November when the Bears might be 1-8 or whatever it would be, and Atlanta would be 6-2. You're looking at this game, Atlanta is going to steamroll this football team. But nobody believes that opening day. You have your gadget plays ready. Nobody's really played in the preseason. You're at home. All it takes early on, Jeff, we've seen it many times, a fumble, an interception, a bad call. Chicago believes they can win this football game, and they're hanging around. Seen a lot.
You're totally right. And I think, I mean, the line doesn't make any sense. I mean, Donnie, give me the numbers on as far as with Atlanta, what the bet percentages are.
Yeah, it was 78% of the tickets and 80% of the money. So overwhelming avalanche of money coming in and tickets on one team, and the line is shifting down lower there.
Yeah, that's a straight up false flag, which we've talked about before. Yeah. It's really hard to really feel good about that one. If I'm looking at that game and I like the Atlanta Falcons, I'm not telling you to get off your bet. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but it just doesn't make a lot of sense.
What about Thor Marino in the chat box here for us, Jeff, contradicting himself most of the time? The line will go back on Sunday. Most public bettors don't bet until Sunday. I thought we were told repeatedly that the public doesn't move lines.
Yeah, he contradicts himself in everything he says, but I mean, he also said that Logan Ryan was horrible, but I saw last night on the Gabe chat that he said they sorely missed him, New England. So
how long did Gabe go for last night, Jeff? I didn't check in. How long did we go?
He went pretty long. I didn't listen.
Over 2.5, maybe?
I think it was around 2.5 hours. He usually gets off at like 12:30. But yeah, look, I mean, as far as the public, yeah, you're right. But you also have said that you don't think the public moves line. So that is a good point by Donnie Rightside. Do you have any comment on that?
We will see. Yeah. I mean, but if you have both public and sharps coming in, obviously that line's going to race around. But theoretically, if a casino, the old fallacy, Jeff, of the casino business and sports booking business was they want 50-50 action, which is wrong because the casino thinks they're already made the perfect line. They already know what the right play would be in there. So they love it when the same way somebody's betting against you, Jeff. If you have a bet and you're sitting there going, I got the Jacksonville Jaguars, and everybody and their mom is betting Houston, and you're right on this one, you'd be like, all right, I'm not taking any more bets. No, you're like, you know what? Come on, keep coming.
Yeah, Kevin, we hear you. I mean, look, he's in every chat, so it's hard to, ignore him. I don't really care about what he says, but he keeps talking, so we'll let him talk.
What else we got, big man?
Yeah, let's go to one or two other ones. Yeah. And again, we're going to hit this card. I mean, Donnie's going to hit this card pretty heavy all weekend. Yeah. Let's go to this one, Donnie. Steelers hosting the Browns. We all know that at times Ben Roethlisberger.
Browns are home in that one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Browns are home, sorry. We all know Ben Roethlisberger has had some trouble on the road over the years, but, it's hard to not envision a well-oiled machine here in Pittsburgh. I mean, so many weapons on offense. Le'Veon Bell's finally back and got paid, if you will. What do you see here?
It's interesting because I like the fact, Jeff, I think Cleveland has the worst front office in the entire football league. Number one, it's not really smart business to have a baseball front office and a lawyer run a football office. But I know Cleveland has had disastrous front offices for pretty much since their 1999 revival back in Cleveland. One of the worst run organizations. God love those NFL fans out there. They've been just, poked, prodded, embarrassed, and just, hey, will you come back next year because you love football? Yup, we'll be back. But again, their front office is garbage. But I do agree here with DeShone Kizer getting the start. Doesn't make any sense to start anybody else. If he's going to be your future, you think he's a good quarterback, let him play. And the faster you find out that he is A, your quarterback, or B, not your quarterback, the better overall it's going to be for your franchise here. But the one thing looking at it, Jeff, if we rewind last year where the Eagles opened up with Wentz at home, the Browns are garbage. Wentz shredded them game one as a rookie quarterback. But again, Carson Wentz was at home, same way Kizer is. But when you're going up against an elite NFL football team and you're saying to your rookie who's already on a garbage team, go out there, make some plays and beat the Steelers, that's going to be tough to do. And look at that line sitting out there, Jeff, 8.5, 9s across the board on an opening day road team interdivision battle. It's no surprise. I mean, the Steelers they just take the field against Cleveland, just, kick them in the ass. Just get out of here. We're going to blow you off this field and beat you. They do it time and time again. I see it probably happen again. This is my survivor pick or suicide pick is on the Pittsburgh Steelers. I hate to take teams like this and take them on the road, but do you honestly feel a DeShone Kizer-led, awful coaching staff, awful front office, awful overall franchise is going to end up beating the Pittsburgh Steelers here? I can't see it. Yeah,
I mean, they've covered 3 in a row against Cleveland. Really, all of them were easy for the most part. So, yeah, I agree with you 100%. We'll go one more here. And again, thanks to all the great listeners out there for checking in, saying hello. Feel free. We got college coming up next. We'll break down all the games tonight in college football. We got Ohio, we got Purdue, we got Oak State. We got plenty of games. Should be fun. Yeah. Let's go one more, Donnie. It's an interesting game, but we won't – actually, I'm going to skip that one. I know we'll talk about that. You'll talk about it all week. Let's go to one we don't talk about much, Baltimore and Cincinnati. I know Gabe mentioned on his show he likes Cincinnati at -3. Totals kind of hung around 42.5. I know it's going to be hard for me to envision. We see a lot of points in this game. I think both these defenses are pretty good. This just looks like one of those defensive struggles in the AFC North. Hard to envision. It's not like a 21-17 type of game, but do you have any feelings that the Baltimore Ravens can move the football, Donnie?
I mean, Flacco's a pro's pro, but not only just miss it, like, how sometimes, Jeff, you just wait. Like Carson Wentz, I like to get back to the Eagles there because obviously we watch him more than just about anybody else, especially in the preseason. He's healthy. He didn't play that much, but he looked good when he played. How you get to, okay, heading into there. Joe Flacco has a back injury, which, again, he's not a super mobile guy to begin with. Sitting back in the pocket, doesn't play much. Now, all of a sudden, you say, hey, yeah, he's ready to go, man. He's ready. How ready to go really is he? I've been a buyer on the Cincinnati Bengals in the offseason. Do I think it's going to be a blowout victory one way? No. These teams usually, meet head-to-head again. Another really nice job by the NFL setting up a division matchup opening week 1. The only thing scaring me right now, Jeff, again, just being a better in September, 67% of the public on this game for Cincinnati. 67% of the money, Jeff. Line opened up at 3. Now sitting at -3 plus 105, -3 plus 103 at Pinnacle, -3 plus 100 at UWager. When you look at this game on its whole from a public perspective, the same way I'm doing right now, because again, I don't like to lay down a ton of money in September. I like to see how these games play out. If you're looking at the Bengals and you're saying, hold on here, an injury-ravaged organization, the Ravens, going on the road, playing, to me, a more talented Cincinnati Bengals team at home. Why is this line not off of 3? And why is the public and whoever pounding it, and it's not moving at all? Just interesting to me, man. What's your thoughts on that one?
I look under here. I mean, I'll go kind of conservative. Again, I'm not going to be betting this game or care too much about it.
That line stinks. Yeah.
These are great. These are great battles always. I do agree with you. Good job in the NFL for putting a couple of these on the card. But yeah, I don't have much on it. I feel like this is a low-scoring game, kind of a nosebleeder kind of game. I don't know that Cincinnati's improved themselves on the offensive line. They give up a lot of sacks last year. I see a lot of guys who I've never heard of on that line. So we'll see. They have plenty of weapons. They're definitely the better team, but I think you're right.
When you just look overall weapon-wise, look at the backfield for Cincinnati. At least a competent quarterback in there. A.J. Green, one of the best wide receivers. I think Cincinnati is going to be able to move the football and score some points. I know Baltimore's a pretty good defensive team, but when it just boils down to more playmakers on one side, I'll take the home team. It's a short line. Basically, you're just asking Cincinnati to win this football game, and they're probably going to cover. That's the way I would lean here. But again, that line still little bit fishy to me, Jeff, sitting at 3, a lot of public support, but I'll still lean on what I've been saying in the offseason. I'll lean Cincinnati here.
Yeah, I mean, one other thing, Donnie, back to the Pittsburgh Steelers quick. Would it surprise you at all if Joe Hayden goes there and just, goes back to his his old self? I mean, he leaves Cleveland. It's like, all right, well,
I'll be healthy this year. I'll play all 16 games, 6, 7 interceptions, Pro Bowl player. That's a Cleveland move there. Yes.
Yeah, and as far as another thing on the Bengals, I mean, according to Pro Football Focus, they have the second worst offensive line in the league. I don't, again, they let some guys go. Like Jake Fisher's a decent player, but other than that, I mean, can you keep Andy Dalton upright? They had a problem doing it last year. It's hard to imagine they're going to be able to do it this year. But as always, like we said, Donnie Wright said we'll be breaking down NFL all weekend here at SPR Forum and SPR Sports Pick, so look forward to that. Ross is out, and Pac-Man and Burfict are suspended. Yeah, the whole team's suspended, it seems like. You also got Joe Mixon. He's a guy that I think on the field will be pretty impressive for them.
He will.
But that team is impressive. Green and Bernard and Eifert and Mixon and John Ross when healthy. Impressive.
They got them. They have talent over there. Can they put it together? And again, Dalton's a serviceable quarterback. It's not like you got Blake Bortles on that side. But I'm just looking at it from a whole perspective. Going on the road, banged up team. Quarterback, I know he's a veteran. He's going to get himself ready for the game. But how ready mentally you are, Jeff, when that line is when Geno Atkins is bearing down on you and your back is fragile, what are you doing?
Yeah, I think the one thing you have to be excited about with Baltimore is they're always going to be really impressive on the defensive end. They were great against the run.
Yep, you're right.
They were great against the run last year.
They
always do things in the draft. Yeah, they always do things in the draft that make sense. Yep. And that's a good point, Donnie. This kicking game is a little different. I mean, you get the best kicker in the league against a team in Cincinnati who's really struggled. So I think the little things Baltimore does. But I talked with Ryan. He hates Baltimore. He thinks their offense is disgraceful. He thinks it's really, really bad. So we'll see. But I kind of agree with you guys. I do kind of lean Cincinnati here. It's hard not to. But Baltimore does do some of the little things. And, look, this matchup
they know each other. There's no question about that. Right?
I mean, you look at straight up over the last, number of years, basically since 1992, let's say, 21-21 straight up. So, I mean, it's pretty even.
You know what's funny about that, too? The comment on the chat box, Kevin White says, Harbaugh's a great coach. I completely agree with that. I mean, a coordinator coming up, a special teams guy, goes to the head of the class as a head coach, wins a Super Bowl. Fantastic. But something with the Harbaugh brothers, Jeff, on the sideline. Man, they just – every time the camera cuts to them, whining and crying and, like a little, baby over there, like, oh, my God, the penalty went against us. Just enough of that nonsense.
I actually like them just because I'm a similar personality. I whine a lot as well. It wouldn't surprise me, Donnie, and I'm going to look this up. Are they twins? They're not twins, are they?
No. No.
I didn't think so. John Harbaugh is I want to look this up.
Jim's the older brother, right? Jim's older.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know about Jim. Jim's more like the guy I'm looking at. Okay, interesting. Neither are cancers, which is interesting. Cancers are usually like me. They're very emotional, overdramatic. They whine about everything. Basically, that's why I'm happy I'm from this area, because it seems like everyone in this area is a cancer, and we're all emotional and have edges. So, when you watch the show and you say, wow, this guy's a mad – pissed off kind of guy, which I've heard. First of all, I'll tell you, I'm a Cancer, and that's just who I am. Second of all, I'm from the Philly area, so that's just normal and in my blood. And third, if I was just a me and answer guy, that'd be kind of boring, wouldn't it?
Nobody would get anything out of it. Like if you came to me and were like, "Hey, man, I like this game," and every game, like, "Damn, Jeff."
Oh yeah, I totally agree with you. It's boring. You got to have a little bit of abrasiveness.
Like some people with producers that is like, "Yeah, I love that game, man, love it." Yeah,
the guys that just say yes to everything, they're out doing radio in like Des Moines, Iowa. They're not doing radio in New York and Philly and big places. You gotta have a personality, Donnie. Let's get into college football.
3 games tonight for you, big man, huh?
Yeah, we do have one game that Loose Cunt asked us to look at. Okay. He's been asking me about it, so I'm going to check it out. We got Mississippi State and La Tech, Conference USA against SEC here. Got to get the line up front here. Don, did you have that in front of you?
Mississippi State, and I have, let's see, 8. Actually, no, excuse me. Opened at 8. Chris sitting at 9.5. Pinnacle 9.5. So Mississippi State roughly 9.5, depending on where you shop.
Yeah, I mean, I think from what I can see, also there might be even some tens out there. You got a total at 67.5, 730 in Ruston, which is interesting. La Tech not getting a lot of respect here. And the big thing about La Tech, and the big thing I've made in the offseason about La Tech is how will they deal with no Ryan Higgins, no Jeff Driscoll, no Kenneth Dixon, no Carlos Henderson. They're all gone, Donnie. They're all
Mhm.
they're all not with this program anymore. They have a new quarterback in Jamar Smith, which is he's a guy that's a dual threat quarterback, likes to run with the football. Both these teams faced FCS teams in week one and both won fairly easily. The problem I have with La Tech is I'm not confident they can get any stops on the defensive end. They give up 24 points to the Demons last week. You should not be giving up 24 points to Northwestern State. And this, I think, is really just a class kind of game where you have a team kind of rebuilding. This is not the normal La Tech team, though I am confident they'll be good in Conference USA. They still have Jared Kraft. They still have Boston Scott. They still have options in the run game. But overall, they have a young quarterback playing against an SEC caliber defense. And when you have games like this, you really, Donnie, have to just look in the level of class that you're facing. You're facing a team that gets way better recruits, way better coaches, way better everything. And look, Donnie, I really like Nick Fitzgerald. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's going to do good things in the SEC, kind of bring this Bulldog team back a little bit. But there's a concern with Mississippi State. They have struggled over the years against some of these lower-level teams, these Conference USA teams, these Sunbelt teams. Lost last year to South Alabama in a game that they should have won. For me, I want to take the over because I feel like both teams would be able to score. But the concern I have is I don't know that La Tech will have as much success moving the ball as they have in years past. For me, it's a pass. I don't see much in the way of reason to bet this game. I do think Mississippi State is going to be much better offensively this year, and they have a kid, Donald Gray, a receiver, really good football player. Their coach, Dan Mullen, will be able to, I think, really get this team back. And I just don't think La Tech's as good as they've been. Donnie, you would agree. You've seen this team before.
Yeah.
You know what they've had. You know the big play guys they've had in the past. Yep. It's hard to make me think that they can compete here. Just a level of class, really, for me.
Yeah, SEC team going down there. You're better at every position strength-wise for the most part. And again, you're right. It wouldn't have been fun to see this matchup, Jeff, maybe 2 years ago or a year and a, you know what I mean?
Sure.
When they had Dixon in the backfield, Henderson. That it would have been a lot of fun. You're right.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, Ryan Higgins was. He had an amazing year last year. He threw for 4,000 plus yards. They just scored 60.
Who was 2 years ago, Jeff? Was it Driscoll down there for La Tech?
Yeah, it was Jeff Driscoll. They had this kid Nick Sokol as well, and this year they have Jamar Smith, who is a totally new kid, totally new player. And in these games, like I keep saying, there's just a lot of class difference here, and I wonder about their defense. I have a feeling they're going to get. I have a feeling they're going to have some trouble in this game, La Tech. Let's move on to tonight's games, Donnie. What do you have for some lines here?
We got three games tonight we want to take a look at, and why not? People want to bet what they bet tonight. You're going to cover that entire card on Saturday, so let's really dig into some of these games, Jeff. We'll start right at the top here, 301, 302, Ohio and Purdue. MAC implications here, Jeff. Game starts at 8 p.m. Eastern time. About 8,700 tickets have registered in this game, Jeff. 70% backing the Big Ten squad here in Purdue. Line opened up at Chris at 4, Jeff. Here we go. Down to 3 at Chris. Pinnacle sitting at 3. Bet Online 3. UWager 3. 5 Dimes 3. Bovada 3.5. So it looks like Ohio, Jeff, getting some respect here. Only 30% of the tickets. Line moving down. Somebody thinks the MAC's going to have a good night tonight, huh?
Yeah, and I'll add me to the list of those people.
Yes,
I mentioned on your closing line show the other day that we went over this game, and I like that Ohio at 4. I like them at 3. I actually think they'll be in the running to win this game, but I think anything above 3 or higher, I'm going to be interested in that for sure. Getting the points here. I think this game is going to come out to one of the final possessions. I think this is a real overreaction game, Donnie. Purdue is heavily invested in now after their near win against Louisville, but we have to look and kind of peel back the onion a little bit in that game. Louisville had 3
By the way,
turnovers.
Jeff, Markel Jones for this game real quick, out for the season or just out for this game, or how bad was his knee injury?
He's out for the foreseeable future from what I understand.
That's going to hurt that team.
Yeah, I mean, they still have some good players, but, we have to peel back the onion and remember Louisville had 3 turnovers. They also, Purdue gave up 524 yards. And look, who's the quarterback? Is it Blau or is it Sindelar, who were both in the game and played well? I just don't know if I'm ready to lay points to Purdue. I can't really see the reason why anyone would want to lay points. They kind of remind me of Kansas. Why is Kansas laying points? We have to understand that Ohio is a really good football team. They're a team that I think really has a possibility that they could win the MAC this year. They're well coached. Solich has been there for seemingly my whole life. They have a really good quarterback and running game and got a good skill position players. They're not scared to face a team like Purdue. They went into Tennessee last year, gave them a lot of trouble. They gave Western Michigan trouble in the bowl game or in the conference championship game. And their run defense is really good, Donnie. I think this one's going to be a little bit more low scoring. I'm not sure Purdue can stop Ohio. I think they have a better defense, Ohio, and I don't think we're going to have any reason to think that they can't score some points here. I think this is a close game, but I honestly want to tell you that I think Ohio will win this football game. I think they're a team that isn't getting a lot of respect here, and we're overreacting about Purdue, who didn't win the game, and they were the benefit of a lot of turnovers in that game. So for me, I'm going to lean with the Ohio Bobcats here.
All right, next up, 303, 304, 8 p.m. again. So we're going to have mirrored games tonight between Ohio, Purdue, and also Oklahoma State, South Alabama. We're going to go over 7,200 tickets have been tracked here. 78% of those tickets are now currently going towards the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Line opened up at 24.5. Chris up to 28. Pinnacle at 28. Bet Online 28. You wager 28. 5 dimes at 28.5. So about 4 touchdowns. What you're looking at, the favorite going on the road to South Alabama here. Jeff, South Alabama, we've watched this program. Good competitive team. A little bit outclassed in the situation, obviously, just by looking at the overall spread. The one thing to me that goes with Oklahoma State, Jeff, typically not a great defense, but a lot of firepower on offense. So I'm looking at that now. Opened up 64.5 at Chris, sitting at 67.5. Pinnacle 68. You wager 68.5. I think most people are in agreement with me. Points are probably going to be a premium here tonight, right?
Are going to be a premium?
Yes, meaning like they're going to be scoring out there, like bang, 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 up and down.
I mean, when you have Oklahoma State, I mean, that's always going to be something you have to worry about. Question I have in this game is, why is Oklahoma State going to Ladd-Peebles Stadium in Mobile to play? I don't really understand that, why that's happening.
Have they played them yet, Jeff? Is this a home and home that they had? Or it's very rare that even Oklahoma – you're right. Maybe Oklahoma State going down there for a recruiting advantage, saying, hey, look, we play in your neck of the woods down here. But you're right about that. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I don't really understand this. I don't really understand this spot. It doesn't make a lot of sense. They didn't play them last year. I don't know if this is a series they set up, but Jeff Jones getting them to come down there should be a fun night in Mobile. You get a high-powered, really good football team in Oklahoma State coming in. Look, we can agree. We all know they're going to score points. Look at what they did last week against Tulsa. I mean, look, 59 points, had a ton of yards. I don't really foresee any difference in that this week. Last week, Ole Miss played South Alabama, and Ole Miss was able to pile up the yards. Had 47 points in that game. Look, if Shea Patterson can throw for 429 yards, what is Mason Rudolph going to do tonight? And I think the big question here is, if you like this over, do you think South Alabama can score? And did they lose a lot of talent last year? Yeah. I mean, Gerald Everett was a great player. He was an NFL tight end to me, and he's in the NFL now. But I like Dallas Davis, the quarterback down there at South Alabama. He's from Panama City, junior, really good player. And you look at last year against Mississippi State, had a great game, 2 touchdowns, 285 yards. What I like about him is he's really – for the most part, he's been pretty accurate. He had a little struggle with that early on in his career, but I think he's a guy that will be able to move the football against this team. I'm not saying they're going to score a lot of points. I do think they're good for like the 14 to 20 range. If we saw anything from Oklahoma State, it's that they're going to go up by so many points in this game that's really not going to matter. And for the spread purpose, that's a concern here for me. I think they're going to score a ton of points, but are they a good enough team to be laying 28? Are they good enough to be laying 31? I'm not sure. One thing I do know is Dallas Davis is going to be able to probably move the football a little bit against this defense. I agree with your point. I think the over is worth a look here. I'll give it to BMOC. He knows his college sports and schools and players. Thank you, Kyle. I appreciate that. I really try to know everything about it. But yeah, as far as I guess that doesn't always translate. I guess I'm not a good winner though. So well, it's all good. I'll just keep doing what I like to do, and you can keep doing what, of course, you like to do, which is bother us. So, Donnie, let's get to the next game.
Third one, 485, 486, 7 p.m. start tonight. One of the Florida teams, I believe Florida International and Florida Atlantic, the only two teams that are going to be playing. I do see an N next to this game, Jeff, obviously not being played on campus at Florida International. Where did they move this game to?
That's a great question, Donnie. I have to look.
They moved to Alcorn State, I guess? I mean, where else would they actually be playing that game at?
Well, Alcorn is up in Georgia. It's not too far away. That's a good question. I'm not exactly sure. This is an added game, so it has had a ton of my attention. Let me see here. They're actually going to play this game, Donnie, in looks like UAB up at Legion Field.
There you go.
Think.
Yeah.
So pretty much a neutral site game for both these teams. Alcorn is in the Southeast as well. Alcorn State is a team in the FCS that normally is pretty good. They're a team that can move the football. They run the triple option, and historically they play in the game at the end of the year. They play always against Grambling State. It's a battle of historically black colleges, and it's always on NBC. And I've watched it. They play.
Is it Alcorn? Is that game, or is that Southern versus Grambling?
No, they have different games. It's Southern, it's Grambling, gotcha. Alcorn, it's North Carolina A&T. They kind of get together and all do these. Look, Florida International, you clearly need a bounce back in this game. And look, no one is in much of a belief that they can do that in this game. I mean, the spread has dropped considerably since the open. And keep in mind, that number might have been a little too high. Alcorn's a good football team. I'm going to look more into this game just because I'm not sure that I'd feel comfortable laying points right now with the Florida International Golden Panthers. Really struggled last week to move the ball. Really struggled at stopping anyone. This is a game I'm going to look more into. Some of these I kind of put on the back burner because obviously there's D1 games that I'm going to look at. So for me, I don't have anything on it right now, but I might look into it later.
Jeff, coming into the chat box, Ryan D. Now, is this Ryan D, or is this somebody making a fake Ryan D?
No, that's a fake name. Ryan D is not on this chat box right now. Ryan D is out in Ann Arbor right now. So while he's come on the chat before, that is not him. So
why would it be his name too? Ryan D. I like it.
Well, that's not his name. His last name is not Dia.
No, that's what I mean. Yes.
He was on the. Actually, it's funny. He was on the soccer chat the other day, oogling Natalie the whole time, calling her out and stuff. Shout out to. Oh, that was you, Donnie, that said that. Aaron McNair out of Alcorn State. Call.
That's me.
Florida International, Alcorn State, like watching old people fuck. Well, come on, dude.
You got to do something tonight, right? The street football. See, look, the good part about the Florida International Alcorn State game, I don't even know. Is that even a TV game?
TV. No, it's probably ESPN3, I would think.
I would be surprised if it's even on any type of outlet, especially Jeff, since they had to move the actual game.
Yeah. Right. They've done the whole where they do it a lot in soccer where they'll put like guys in like an office somewhere in like London and they'll broadcast
and we're here live, but you don't hear any sounds in the background.
Cool because
they do that. Yeah.
I'm a fan of that. I don't know why they don't do that more. Why do we have to waste money on sending them to the game? Like, why not just do it remote? I don't get it. But let's go through one more, Donnie. Early start here, 6:30 Eastern. You got Memphis visiting South Carolina. This is
postponed. They postponed that.
No, they moved it. Did they move it?
They actually moved it and postponed it. Yeah.
No, they moved it to tonight. It's tonight. It was supposed to be Saturday. They moved it.
Yeah, no, but they canceled every game in Florida is done. There's even Florida State's not going to play this weekend. They moved it, but they were supposed to play, but then they canceled it again. Yeah.
I don't think your info's right there, Donnie.
All right, you're supposed to be the college football Superman here, Jeff.
I am the college football. That's news to me. I thought it was moved to Friday night to play.
Yeah, but everybody canceled their sports.
No, I'm saying
every single school.
From what I remember,
yeah.
I thought
they did. They did. They moved it from Saturday to Friday, trying to get ahead of it. But the storm got so worse that they're trying to prepare. Yeah.
And I want to say this is why this is news to me. On the odd services, they'll usually post and put game postponed.
Yeah, it's on mine. It is PPD.
Okay. I could have sworn this game was moved. Okay. I guess it says postponed now. All right, never mind.
Would have been a good one too. I was interested in that game. It would have been a nice one.
When was this decided? Because I
I
watched.
believe it was yesterday, early in the day.
Well, because last night that you and Drew talked about it on the show. I mean, I'm a little confused here. That's why I'm confused.
Yeah,
Because
maybe it came out yesterday afternoon. But yeah, I know we talked about the show, but I know because even like Florida State canceled their football game on Saturday, so I don't think anybody's even allowed.
No.
College sports.
If anyone heard the show earlier, we clearly discussed. I'm aware there's a hurricane. I thought maybe the game had been moved to another location, like they did the Florida International game. So interesting that they were to move that game and not this game.
That's a conference game. So this is actually like this isn't one of those where you say, hey, we're going to make some money on the game. So they are going to reschedule and play that because again, both of these teams are going to factor in the overall standings and possibly win the actual conference. So it'd be interesting to see where they move that game to.
Let's talk about Army. I actually talked about Army, Austin. You can check out the Big Men on Campus college football betting buffet, Donnie.
Oh, the buffet. Yeah, I like the name. Okay.
We broke down 4 games, Drew Martin and I. You can take a look at that on SBR. I broke that game down. I believe I also broke down the Navy game as well. So check that out. The military, man. They're going to call me General Nadu here soon. It's going to be my new name. I'm actually considering, Donnie, getting into shape and getting into the military. That's kind of something I wanted to always do, but I respect those guys and I enjoy their service. I appreciate it. Donnie, your thoughts on the Premier League this weekend? Do you have anything on that?
Yes, all draws. I'm going to take 0-0 in every game.
Draw on the under.
Yes,
you can bet draw on the under, right, Donnie?
I like that.
Always plus money too.
Isn't that correlation, Jeff? Isn't that a correlation?
That would be a correlation. Most USA books don't do it, but the European books do it. So you got to get yourself a VPN, Donnie. I hope everyone has a great second week of college football. Good point, Kanata. Yes. Good luck to all you. And again, if you're in the path of a hurricane, please leave. We want to hear from you again. Please leave. Don't be the hero. Don't try to be the guy out. Like the weather guys that stand out and they're getting blown away, but they're still trying to report.
Yeah, I saw the CNN guy sitting in South Beach telling everybody they can't be here. I'm like, well, what are you doing down there?
Yeah, right. I guess they have some sort of power that no one.
Yeah, okay. So you send the guy on CNN down there and says you need to go away, and then somebody should walk in behind him and say, "Wait a second, it's safe for you to be here. So why do I need to leave?" Okay.
Yeah, and by the way, I do want to point this out just to kind of Delaney fracas here. This decision to cancel the game tonight was reported seemingly overnight. So Donnie's info that they had and my info also. I was under the impression this game had went on. So our apologies that we don't have the wires going.
Probably would have been the best game of the night too. It's a shame.
Oh yeah, would have been great. So now we definitely have to find a way to get Florida International on TV. But everyone have a great night. Yeah. Everyone should move to Guam. Yeah, that would be a good idea because they're in the path of a fucking nuclear weapon. That would be a good idea too. Ryan Dia, let's get him out of here. You're pretending to be someone else. Get out of here. Get up with a new name. I know that's not Ryan Dia. All right, Donnie, everyone have a great night. We'll be back. What do you got, the closing line today? What do you got?
Closing line tonight, 6 p.m. I'm going to check in to see who my rotating guest is going to be here. But again, fun show there. We'll talk baseball, obviously, since they're going to be on the docket there. Go ahead.
I actually believe I know who your rotating guest is, so we'll see. I think I know. I talked to Zach Jones.
Zach's shredding waves right now. He has no say in this show.
No, I got a message from him today about this. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. Dude, why the hate? I don't have any hate. I mean, you said to move to Guam. I don't know that'd be a good idea right now. And you're impersonating my best friend. So that's why we have hate here. Come up with a new name next time. All right, Donnie, have a great day. I'll be on tomorrow with Peter Loshak at 10:30 or 11 o'clock Eastern. I'm sorry. We'll be breaking down the college football slate. I also will join Gabe Morency at some point tonight, I guess, talking a little college football as well. Donnie, I found this lucky dollar. Maybe I'll have some luck tonight.
There you go. Yes, it gets you far.
This is actually all I have to my name. So you guys are all right. I'm a broke piece of shit. I don't have anything. This is my last dollar. What do I do with it? What can I go eat for $1?
Jeff, famous rappers used to say, all you need, man, it's $1 and a dream. So
amen. Amen. All right, guys, have a great day. We'll be back later. I will be breaking down the Canelo Triple G fight a little bit later with Peter Kahn from Forbes. Looking forward to that, talking about that. We're the first to talk about it. And Donnie, I can't wait for this mega fight. Everyone have a great night. We'll be back later. Have a good day. Bye-bye.